Hey everybody, what's up? CB Gamer V3 here, bringing you kind of an overview, just kind of a look-see, a first look at Sunset Overdrive. This game came out yesterday at time of recording, and I honestly, spoiler alert, I love this game. It's awesome. But first, I just like you to know that this is not, I'm not like preparing what I'm going to say. I'm doing it off the fly. So if I space out or say a lot, just bear with me. But also, this gameplay is not live at the moment. This is just some gameplay I pre-recorded. It's just me kind of running around, showing off some of the weapons and how the movement system works. But yeah, back to the game. I love this game. This game is awesome. It is easily my favorite game on the Xbox One right now. Basically, trying to not to make every other word I say, but basically, the story of this game is that you are just a random citizen of this big town called Sunset City. And then one day, out of nowhere, mutants start attacking, and you find out it's because of this crazy energy drink that was going to debut in Sunset City. And it makes all these crazy mutants attack, and you decide that what better place to have a ton of fun than the apocalypse. You play as just a random person. You create your own character. You can make them look how you want. There's a lot of customization and stuff, which is nice. I really like that. There's like 20 different faces, and you can choose all kinds of different hairstyles and hair color, and there's a million clothes and all that. But yeah, your character's name is literally Player, though. They never say their name, but whenever you have the subtitles on, whenever your character's talking, it literally just says Player. And basically, yeah, that's about it for the story. It's just you kind of trying to have fun in the apocalypse and figure a way out of Sunset City to survive. Now, the gameplay. Now I'm going to talk about the gameplay. It's so good. It's the best part of the game. Basically, you'll spend about half your time fighting off mutants and the other half traversing the city in what has got to be like the most fun way to get around ever. It's basically like super powered parkour. Basically what you do is you have a crowbar and I guess some magic shoes, and you can grind on pretty much everything in the game. And there's stuff to bounce on to get you higher, and poles to swing around on, and you can run on water. You'll see that a little bit later, hopefully. And yeah, it is so much fun. It is blisteringly fast and very satisfying because it's just a little bit skillful. It's easy to do, but you can mess up and it can get you in trouble. So you just have to pay like just enough attention to where it feels skillful. It's really cool. And like I said, it's really fast too, but it's not so fast you can't like tell what's going on. Everything like it all feels very like natural and easy to do, but still easy to mess up too. It also helps that they give you a combo meter, so you can see how many like parkour moves you can chain together without missing one. And you can also, and it'll also increase your combo from killing enemies, which I should also bring up. The combat is awesome. The traversal is like a mix between, I would say, something like Titanfall and maybe Sly Cooper of all things, because you're riding on rails and jumping all around, but it's really fast. Maybe it's more like Sonic the Hedgehog if it was open world and there's a lot of parkour. And the combat is like, it's very reminiscent of Ratchet and Clank, which makes sense because Insomniac made Ratchet and Clank 2. So basically you get a weapon wheel full of guns. There's a ton of guns. I'm not even sure how many. I haven't gotten them all yet. At time of playing, I'm maybe halfway through the game. maybe-ish. I'm not really sure how long it is, and I'm not... But like I said, I have no idea how many guns there are. There are a bunch, and they all level up on use, which, like I said, if you played Ratchet and Clank, that will be very familiar to you. They go up to level 5, all of them. Sadly, they don't transform like in Ratchet and Clank, but I think it's fair considering how much else is going on. Which I should mention, I have seen incredibly crazy stuff happen in this game. Like, I've seen so much happening at once, and the game never, like, chugs. The frame rate never drops. It just keeps going, and it's so great. Because, you know, a lot of games, they're really cool, but then you hit, like, a really intense, visually intense part, and the game will just slow down to compensate. And that doesn't happen with this game. It is fast, like, all the time. It's great. But combat, basically, if you play it like a normal third-person shooter, you're going to get blown to pieces. Mutants will clobber you. They're really fast and they hurt when they hit you. It hurts your character really bad when they hit you. Same with, like, human enemies that have guns. They have, like, super tracking. And, like, if you're standing still or just running around on the ground, they can, like, lock onto you and just murder you. You'll be dead in 10 seconds flat. The idea of it is you're supposed to combine shooting with parkour to basically avoid attacks while dishing out damage of your own, and it sounds like hard to aim or something like that. Like you're going blazingly fast down the street, and you're also supposed to be hitting like mutants running around everywhere. You think, that sounds too imprecise, but they really compensate for it well with a lot of... There's like lock-on, kind of. Like you'll see a red circle over the enemy that your cursor is close to. And basically, as far as I can figure, that means you're kind of like locked on. You'll see here, see the red circle around the enemy I'm just shooting at on the screen now? That's what it's like, and it's really easy. And even if you're moving too fast, you have brakes. You can step on the brakes a little bit. You'll keep moving, but you'll go slower, so it's easier to aim. And now weapons are really easy to aim too. Plus, there's a lot of area of effect ones. I might have shown it already. There's the bazooka, basically, that shoots out explosive teddy bears, called the TN Teddy. And there's a shotgun that fires like, fire rounds. And there's all kinds of area of effect weapons, and then there's like precise weapons too. Like you get a magnum that's really powerful, but you gotta actually like hit the enemy. And you see there, that guy exploded into chunks. There's a lot of gore and language and stuff in this game, but that doesn't bother you. And you can turn it off too. You can turn off the gore and the vulgarity if you'd like. I don't think it really takes away too much from the game, but you know. But this game is fantastic. I love it. The characters in it they're okay. They have some really good ones. I like Floyd a lot, and I like some of the other Survivor characters. There's no one who's really bad. Like there's no one who's like annoying bad. There's lots of cool characters too. Like the mascot for the evil soda company, Fizzy. He's pretty entertaining. But yeah, what else? There's, like I said, there's all kinds of different types of mutants. There's the regular ones called OD, which means overcharged drinkers. That's what it's short for. And basically, they just kind of run up to you. They hit you. They're your standard like zombie mutant enemy things. Then there's blowers, which are mutants mixed with a leaf blower, and they spray acid out of the like leaf blower arm they have. They're pretty cool. I like them. They're annoying though. They ruin your parkour. Then there's also poppers, which I think are the first special type of OD you find. Basically, they're OD that have drank too much of the poisonous energy drink, like more than a normal mutant. and they're basically drank so much they're about to explode, and that's what they do. They run up to you, they explode. They're like boomers or from Left 4 Dead or suiciders from Dead Island, that type of thing. Then there's Herkers, which are like giant mutants combined with like a bulldozer, not a bulldozer, a backhoe thing. Basically, they have a giant like shovel arm that they use to scoop up rocks and throw them at you. They're kind of like tanks from Left 4 Dead. There's a lot of... The enemies are a little bit like Left 4 Dead. But, that's okay, because Left 4 Dead's fun too, so... Can't go wrong with that. But... There is, the Herkers, yeah, they pick stuff up and they throw them at you. They're these huge dudes. They're really tough to take down. And then there's spawners, which look like Herkers, but instead of a shovel arm, they have like a dumpster on their back, and they just spawn lots of little guys. You want to take them out quick. And then up to the point in the game I'm at, the only other enemy I found are, I think they're called Gunkers. They're like freezy dudes, and they shoot these these icicle spiky icicle things at you. Icy, spicy, God. Icy, spiky icicles. I was trying to make fun of myself, and I accidentally made it worse. Oh, well. But they shoot, like, these spiky icicle things at you. And, basically, they launch them on rails, so when you hit them, you fall off the railing. And, you'll crash and burn and hopefully land in a pile of mutants where they can eat you. But, yeah. It feels like a lot of time and effort was put in this game, particularly in movement. Like, all the movement, like I said, feels really natural and fast, and there's no, like... There's some times where you're kind of like, that's sort of a break for me, like, you have to, like, you feel like you have to stop or slow down to land on something, but usually it's spaced out perfectly so that if you just keep going, you won't run out of stuff to climb on. And... Like I said, there's so many moves to help keep you going. You can bounce, you can grind, you can undergrind, which is where you hang with the crowbar. You can launch yourself. You can do a ground pound and then bounce back up if you push the A button real quick right after landing. You can wall run. You can corner on the walls where like you grab the edge of the building and like swing around to the next one and keep wall running. Here you go. You can run on water, kind of. Later in the game, you can unlock air dashing. Which lets you just kind of shoot forward a little bit in the air. It adds a lot. And that's another thing. You actually do unlock a few extra abilities to, like, add variation to parkour, which is really nice. Because, you know, it gets old. Even as fast and cool as this is, I can see it. Like, I can see that it will eventually get old, but adding those little, like, touches to keep it interesting is really nice. And it's still not boring for me yet. I've played probably 10 to 12 hours, and I'm still having fun running around. Like I said, I think this is the best, like, movement system in a game I've seen. It's smooth, it's natural, it never slows down. And you keep unlocking new ways to go about moving. It's great. I guess I should also talk about, there is a co-op mode. It's multiplayer co-op. It's online. It works really good too. I haven't played a lot of it, but I've never like encountered problems or like shutdowns. It never like freaks out on me. I did get kicked from a game one time, but I think that was just because it had a bunch of people loading or joining. The multiplayer is completely ridiculous because it's pretty much just kind of like playing the single player, but with up to 8 people on a team, which I think is really cool because there aren't a lot of games that have a co-op mode for 8 people. It's mostly like, I would say Call of Duty or Battlefield with like Ground War and larger modes where you can play with a lot of people on one team, and even then you're kind of doing your own thing. But in this, you're working pretty well as a team. It's a lot of fun. It's absolute insanity. It is 8 people running around, sprinting, firing all these crazy weapons, bouncing everywhere, flying off buildings and all that. And basically you just do missions. You do these different missions. There's different ones for each area. and there's 4 areas. You do about 5 or so missions, I want to say. And then you do what is called a night defense, which is also in this game. Basically, you use some of the chemicals in the soda, or the energy drink Overdrive, which is where the game got its name, by the way. You use some of the chemicals in the Overdrive to cook up these new amps, which I haven't even talked about. There's a lot of, like, customization that's for gameplay, too. I'll get into it in a minute. But basically, you have to defend this generator while it cooks up these amps for you, which you can do it in single player, and it's okay in there. It's basically, horde mode. But in multiplayer, it's pretty cool. You do like 5 missions, which basically, if you complete the missions, you get different bonuses. And then at the end, you do a night defense, which is where all the bonuses come into play. So you can get like plus 10% damage to all enemies in one, and then you can get plus 30% style bonus in the next one, and they all add up at the end to give you this really cool. Like, you get to be basically super powered people. But yeah, I'll talk about amps real quick. Amps and overdrives and things like that. Basically, amps are like, they're kind of like mini little power-ups you can equip on your character or your guns. And they do little random things, like there's some like I have an amp on one of my guns that makes it so every time I hit an enemy, I have a small chance of that enemy exploding in a ball of fire that goes everywhere, which is really cool. And just stuff like that. And you unlock them through doing the night defenses, or you can buy them, I think. And you can buy them or unlock them in the night defense, like I just said. Stupid. I'm stupid, not you. And I lost my train of thought, sorry. They're pretty cool. They don't change the game up too much, but some of them are really good. Like, there's a bunch of different classes, like dive bomb and melee attack, and epic amps. Epic amps are the coolest ones, and they take the most like points to earn. If you look in the top right, you'll see the little lightning bolt with the right now the 2 next to it. That's your style meter. You fill that up by doing cool parkour moves or killing enemies while you're sliding around and swinging off poles and all kinds of cool stuff. But once you fill that up, the amps will unlock at certain levels of style. So at like level 1, you get a few of the smaller amps, and then at level 2, you get bigger amps, and then at level 3, you get the epic amps, which are really cool. You can see right now I'm on level 3, and the lightning striking everywhere, that's my level 3 amp. Like, lightning just indiscriminately strikes everywhere. Which is pretty cool. It helps. It's kind of got a target. It'll kind of be like, okay, there's an enemy here, we'll hit it for you. But it is pretty indiscriminate, I will say. It's really cool. I don't have a lot of, like, big complaints with the game, but just a few. I think there needs to be more background music, at least for like just free roaming, because for this video, you probably can't hear it because I turned the audio way down, but in this video, I think I heard the same song twice, and there's only like 4 or 5 different tracks. They're good tracks. I'm not a big like punk rock guy, but they're still really catchy and they fit the game well. I think there needs to be more. Maybe they could patch in more songs, but I don't think so. I think this is what we're gonna get. It's not a big deal because you're mostly focusing on the dialogue, which tries to be funny and succeeds, I might add. It's frequently funny. It makes you more than just giggle every once in a while. It can make you laugh outright. Which is good. And there's a lot of like small references and stuff. Like at one point, there's a character who, like, you're explaining something really important and he just says, like, huh, what? I wasn't listening, I was checking Reddit, which I think is pretty clever. It's not something you usually hear from a big, like, AAA video game like this. But, the game is funny. The jokes rarely fall flat in it, which is good. They're a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to play. The story is, like I said, it's kind of just there. It's not particularly amazing, but some of the funnier and cooler characters and the humor definitely make up for it. They don't really need to make up for it. It's not a bad story. It's just kind of there. Also, like I said, the game runs beautifully. I literally found no like slowdown or hiccups, and yeah, I found minimal glitches. I found maybe 1 or 2 mutants that get stuck on something, which isn't a game breaker. It hasn't ever crashed on me. I've heard it will crash for some other people sometimes, but it's never crashed for me. And I mean, yesterday when it came out, I played it for about 8 to 10 hours straight. 8 to 10 hours, and I'm still only about halfway through the game. That's pretty good. That's pretty good length, especially for something this cool. But I'm getting low on time here, so is there anything else I want to talk about? Not really. One other complaint, real quick, is the multiplayer is a little bit too easy to level up your guns. It is cool because you get to take your character and all their weapons and amps and stuff into multiplayer, and it just carries over. But then your guns and amps and stuff will level up in multiplayer, and I feel like just because there's so many enemies, because it's geared for 8 people, you can farm really easy, which isn't a bad thing. It's just it kind of takes away from the single player if you play like a few multiplayer matches and then you have ridiculously good guns right at the beginning. But it's not like ungodly farming. Anyway, I am now really running out of time, so in closing, this game is awesome. I recommend anyone with an Xbox One who likes action or adventure or free roam or hilarity to pick this game up. It's really fun, and it is honestly my favorite Xbox One game I have. It will probably last you somewhere around, I would say if you go for like 100%, it could last you, 40 plus hours. But I'd say the main campaign and like exploring and a few side quests will probably last you around 25 hours, maybe 25 hours. That's just an approximation though from the little I know about what happens after the point I'm at in the game. But yeah, I definitely recommend this to anyone who wants just a fun game, who's been looking for something to play on their Xbox One. It's totally worth it. I think they did a great job. Yeah. So, yeah, that's about it. Buy this game. It's a lot of fun. And, I honestly don't have anything else to say. This game's fantastic. But I'm out of footage, so, bye. See you next time. I'll probably be an achievement guide for this. Later.